This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex, and this is the Ramble. We go until midnight tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, if there ever was a Santa Claus, he'd be nothing like
always giving.
He'd be nothing like Larry Bubbles Brown.
So I come down the chimney with a big bag of depression.
Yeah, you'd be passing out disdain. That will be one thing you'd be passing out.
Prozac.
Prozac. Yeah. Well, we're getting to that time of the year. It's almost Xmas, as I spell it, because I'm Jewish and I don't have to spell it with Christ in the name. And it's Christmas time. And do you give presents to people? I mean, do you have?
I don't celebrate Christmas. The best thing I liked about Christmas was you used to do those great Christmas shows at the Fairmont.
Yep.
Those are wonderful.
At the Venetian Room. Yep.
Yeah, we had Dick Bright, and those were just such great nights.
Well, I did it because it was an old-fashioned form of radio,
Yeah, with the music and it was like a variety show.
And the live studio audience and all of that, But of course, the Venetian Room wasn't made for radio, but we managed to turn a pretty good show out up there. And we did it every year, I think. When did it first start? I'm trying to remember when we first did it.
First one I did with you was, December of 87.
Yeah. 87?
Yeah. Well, it's the first one I did, and I think that's the first one you did at the Fairmont.
I don't know if that was the first one. But anyway, it was everybody looked forward to it. Everybody loved it. And we called Supper with Schwartzman. And because Breakfast with Bennett, BB, SS.
Yeah,
Supper with Schwartzman worked. And we used to just bring in people. And in one case, we almost killed certain members of our audience. Do you remember that incident?
No.
This was what we would do. It was of course for the audience. We did it every year for the audience who could come. It was free. You came to the Venetian Room. You could buy drinks, I think. You were allowed to do. You could do that, but you had to pay for them, obviously. But the admission was free, and you got this really big show. But the other reason we did it was for sponsors. In other words, our advertising guys would go out and pass out tickets to all the advertisers to come to the show. So this one year, we decided that we were going to go to all the agency people, most of whom were in L.A., and put them on a plane and bring them up to the show. Hey, good deal for an advertiser, right? You get a free plane trip to San Francisco, you see a great show, and then you fly back home.
Oh, okay, I know what happened.
Yeah,
okay,
you know what happened. So what happened was some guy decided that he was going to hijack a plane. And he hijacked a plane that was coming up to San Francisco just closely before our show. And he hijacked the plane and had the guy plow it into the earth. I mean, plowed into the ground. And everybody on the plane died. Well, these people were all supposed to be on that flight, but they didn't. We changed the flight to the flight right after it. And had we had all those people on that initial flight, we would have killed off about 50% of our advertisers.
I remember. Yeah, it was a PSA flight.
The PSA flight, right?
It was a disgruntled worker. That's how he got on the plane, and he had a gun, and he shot the two pilots.
Mm-hmm. not knowing how to fly the plane himself, it just had nowhere to go but down. I'm laughing. Because our guys, our people, were on the next flight. So, pretty good story. And I know that my boss at the time, Ed Cramp, went, "Oh my God, did we dodge a bullet on that one?" And we were only trying to do a nice thing, nice promotion for the advertisers. So
that was December 7th or 8th, 1987. I remember that.
1987. So we had done Breakfast with Bennett's before that, I think. So
that was the first one I'd done at the Fairmont, or possibly you did.
86 might have been the first year. 86, because I started at Live 105 in 87, I think.
February 86.
February 86? Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Wow, how do you I can't believe you remember these things.
I remember you came back, was a big deal.
Yeah, what day of the week was it? Wait a minute.
Probably a Monday.
I'll say Monday. No, the thing about Larry, we've established this before, is Larry, if you give him a date, I don't know, I was born December 18th, 1939. What day of the week was it, Larry?
That was a Monday.
See? Now, I trust you. I have not gone back to the calendar to see if that's true. But, I mean, that's amazing. But you have
look up, you can ask Siri, but I think it's, and I was looking at...
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. As Echo, what day of the week was December 18th, 1939?
December 18th, 1939 was on a Monday.
You're right. See?
Yeah.
See? Larry's right. You have a process, though, that you do it with, right?
Yeah, I remember a lot of dates from when I grew up, and I know that the calendar repeats every 28 years. When you said 1939, I looked at 1967.
Did you look at it?
I didn't virtually see it, but, yeah, I remembered something. And it's kind of funny because my mother's birthday is your birthday, so.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Now, you see, I just had a dizzy spell here. See, what is this with me? I have no idea. It's weird. Anyway, let's just go on here. So what happens after we die, Larry? This is a great Christmas-themed show with you right now. Okay.
W.C. Fields said, "We only pass through here once," so I think he's probably right.
Yeah? You think so?
Yeah, it'd be... my worst fear is there is an afterlife, and it's worse than this one.
Because I was watching a documentary with, again, Morgan Freeman, because it's the law. You have to get Morgan Freeman to narrate your series.
The best narrator in the world.
And it's about space and things like that. And they were talking in terms of Mars 23 billion years ago. Okay? And I'm thinking, 23 billion years ago. How insignificant am I in the whole scheme of things? We're this little fleck, this little speck, this pinpoint dot in the history of mankind. It isn't even a dot. It's like a very faint dot. And so is that all there is?
Yeah, I think so. That's why Dana Carvey told me once, he always makes fun of John Lovitz. Lovitz is grousing about something, and Dana said to him, "John, do you realize after we're gone, there's going to be 1 billion years after us?" And Lovitz goes, "Well, then this all means nothing."
Yeah, well, that's exactly the point. I'd like to be here to see man land on Mars. But that probably will not happen during my lifetime. If I live to be 100, maybe I might see it. Okay? But yet kids being born today will see it. And I'm jealous of them. So I can't stand them now because when they do a podcast, they get better numbers than I do. But, kids born today, are going to see a bunch of stuff, but they're not going to see a bunch of stuff when they die. But I just wonder, why am I just flopped down here for now 83 years? Okay, 83 years as of my birthday. 83 years ago, why was I flopped down here? And then when I go, I was just part of this. I didn't it didn't.
People don't want to believe it can be pointless, but maybe life is pointless.
Is it pointless? I mean, or are we practicing for something bigger? I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think that there is some existence after this one, but I don't believe it. And I always was very jealous of people who were like, "Oh, I believe in God, and I'm going to die, and I'm going to go see Uncle Henry again." Going to go see my dad again. And all that.
Yeah, because if you truly believe that, you're actually kind of happy.
Yeah, they're very happy, and then they die, and they can't really say.
They won't know.
Well, they won't know.
If they're wrong, they don't know.
Nobody can say to them, "Hey, something. You were right here."
Well, you worry about missing us landing on Mars, but look at all the stuff you've seen that people that died even 80 years ago having amazing shit you've seen.
But my father never saw my career really get good. You know? I mean, my mother did, but my father didn't. But I mean, I just wonder, especially at my age, you start thinking about these kind of things, because death scares me, because when you die, I can't conceive of not existing, and I'm just wondering, do we exist on some other plane? I mean, I really don't understand this, and if we are existing on another plane, did we exist once before on another plane? And I don't remember it. I don't even remember. Do you remember being born?
No, so that's what death will be like. It'll be like all the time before you were born.
Well, that's what my father used to say. I said, "I'm afraid of death." This was when I was a kid, right? "I'm afraid of death." And he said, "Don't be afraid of it." I said, "Why?" He says, "You've been there once before."
Yeah, you've already experienced.
Yeah, before you were born. And I go, okay. Now I go to bed, put my head on the pillow, and I'm thinking about, what the fuck was it like before I was born? There was a point at which...
Well, I wonder what the great philosophers say about it.
Well, something, a lot of the great philosophers are mixed up, because they were especially created in a certain time of a lot of religion, okay? And so they had a hard time, I think, even asking themselves this question, for fear they'd be considered a heretic,
Yeah. And burned alive.
Yeah. So I really wonder what, I constantly think about it. I have certain theories on how we might exist past this existence, and that's only based on the thing called string theory, in which there are several different dimensions, of which we exist in all of them. That's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I've heard something about that.
Now, that doesn't mean I'm a radio announcer in another dimension, but I exist in another dimension. And that between all these dimensions is a little space. I don't think they have a name for it, but it's like a little gap between these dimensions. And I'm thinking that, if there is a hell, it's because you slip into one of these spaces and can't get out.
Wow.
Isn't that heady for you, huh? Gonna think about that tonight when you're going to sleep? No, but
did you write out your Christmas cards?
We actually have bought the theory of a mega universe. Okay, as to how many dimensions there are, it's all debated. The one I always heard was 7. I don't know how they came up with 7, but whatever. And that in those 7 dimensions, we all exist. There's another Bubs, if you can imagine this.
That's frightening.
And he may have a life. That's what's really scary. You know, and that there's another Bubs and there's another Alex and there's another world out there existing in the same. Now I'm wondering if all of a sudden I die. Do I go to another dimension or does that dimension disappear? You know, I started to think about it and I went, you know, when I die, the whole world dies with me. Because there isn't any world out there if I don't see it, if I don't,
Right.
you know, have a feeling that it's out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that maybe this is all this whole life has been a figment of my imagination. In which case, I have a lousy imagination.
Me too. Why didn't we come up with something better than this?
Well, have you ever come up with any theories? I mean, you must have spent time lying in bed worrying about this, right?
I do, and I thought about the thing that kind of bent my brain when I was a kid. I tried to think about the universe, and there had to be a beginning. And just my brain actually hurt when I started to think about how could that be possible? Did this come out of nothing?
You want your brain to hurt a little more?
Yeah.
On this Morgan Freeman documentary, they were talking about 25 billion years ago. There was nothing. And he talked about how it all became something. You know, the universe is expanding. And at one point, the universe was nothing. And then there was a big bang. And it started expanding and expanding. It's still expanding. I know you have to take this on science.
No, it is, and we literally, if that is true, we're living in the middle of an explosion.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. But anyway, so there's this expanding universe, and that happened 25 million years ago. But prior to 25 million years ago, now think about this, there was nothing. Now, can you
when I try to think about nothing, that's just I can't get my head around.
Yeah, well, that's the same way I feel about death. I can't wrap my mind around what it's like not to exist. Okay, it's a lousy joke God played on us by allowing us to enjoy existence on whatever level we enjoy it, some more than others. Okay. But we get to enjoy existing, and then all of a sudden it's taken away from you. When you've spent, 80, 90 years doing it. How cruel is that of a God?
Very cruel, yeah.
You know? I mean, and then they talk about, in science, someday people will live to be 150, and I'm going, oh, God. You know, is that going to smell or what? You know? Because I have a thing that's happening to me now as I've gotten older. Folks, this is what happens when you get older. This is something that I've never talked about before, and I think it's very important for me to tell you. But I've noticed it lately. Every time I get out of bed, I fart. There's some kind of gas that emits involuntarily from my butt when I get up out of bed. Thank you very much.
I haven't reached that yet.
Yeah. No, it's just this. Marjorie and I, both on each side of our bed, have a spray can full of air freshener. So that if she hears me fart, she goes, I heard that, and then I have to go get the can of air spray, and I spray it around. And that's two old people. That's us getting old together. We have matching citrus-flavored air freshener. So
that's love.
I want people to know that's what it's like to get old. That's romance, you know. So what the hell? Anyway, you been dating at all in the last while?
No, not at all. I think everything crashed with the pandemic. So
really, I mean, were you dating prior to that?
I would occasionally see somebody, but yeah, now it's just nothing.
And those people aren't around now? I mean, what do they do? Die from
Everyone's
COVID?
So many people have left here, and then I think getting older, you get you're not on anyone's radar. So,
Well, yeah. I was still on some kind of radar because I married Marjorie.
but a good woman, so you're a lucky man.
Well, I married Marjorie when I hit like 70. Okay.
Okay.
So, I mean, and I was doing some dating. I was doing less dating only because I didn't have a lot of money here when I first got back. And it took a while for me to have enough money that I could actually go out and date, Here's what happened. I used to go out with women who didn't drink, okay? My wives didn't drink. My girlfriends, most of them, didn't drink. All of a sudden, I started going out with a couple of women who drink. Do you know how much more dinner costs when you're buying dinner?
Oh, my God, when they double it.
When they drink, it's not double it, but it's at least a third. Because, no woman I know who drinks has one drink.
No,
Okay.
and it's just you'd rather see them order lobster than the drink.
They have two, and that's $25 right there.
Yeah, it's such a waste of money.
So I wasn't used to having to pay for drinks for dinner. I mean, to this day, Marjorie and I go out to dinner. The bill comes to $100. At least 25 of it is liquor. And I don't drink, so it doesn't matter. Of course, what they did, for people like me, they made the Cokes really expensive. You still spend like $4 for a glass of Coke.
4 or 5 for a Coke. So.
Yeah. Which always pissed me off because I'm going, hey, I'm not drinking. This is not alcohol, right? In Europe, they used to, they charge $4 for a Coca-Cola. It's considered like you're buying a drink, okay? And they serve it in the small little glass Coca-Cola bottles that are like 6 ounces. You remember those?
And as a kid, I used to go through a case of those every day, yeah.
Yeah, and they take those, and they empty it into your glass, and they go, okay, there's your $4 worth of Coke. Now, if I went to the store next door, the bodega, and I bought like a half gallon of Coke, it would cost me $1.25.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how they make their money.
Yeah.
They didn't ever made money off of me from booze.
Me either. I never drank.
Yeah. And then have you been to restaurants lately and seen the cost? God.
Oh, even everything. So even fast food is getting expensive.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Do you eat fast food?
Occasionally I get some places have a good grilled chicken sandwich, so I'll eat those.
What's that, McDonald's?
Carl's Jr.
Carl's Jr. has a good chicken sandwich. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, and McDonald's has a deep fried chicken sandwich, so I don't want that.
Okay. And
McDonald's charges $1 for their Cokes. The other, Burger King and Carl's Jr., $3.29 for a small Coke. So
really?
yeah, it's a real rip-off.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Wow. Little pansies like us who don't drink, we're being taken to the cleaners now. I just can't believe that Coca-Cola would cost that much. It doesn't cost them that much. They just got the syrup and the seltzer, and they combine the two.
I always heard that was virtually pure profit, Cokes.
Yeah. But, I mean, are you going to tell me that, a keg of Coke is going to cost them $100 or something? No.
They're ripping us off. So.
Well, you know what really rips you off? Popcorn at the movie theater. Now,
anything at the theater.
I don't care how prices have gone up. That's just popcorn, okay? And how much for a bucket of corn? $6, $7. I don't even know what it is now. I've been to a movie theater in 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's probably $6, and candy bars are like $4.
Oh, I would spend about $15 getting all the, stuff for the movie. But I would get a bucket of corn, and we would get 2 sodas, and that would come to about $15. Yeah, I mean.
Well, they always said that's how the theater owners made their money because they didn't get that big a cut on the film. So I don't know.
They make a bigger cut the longer the film is there, but the first couple of weeks they don't make anything off the films.
Nothing. Okay.
Yeah, Jeez. So they're hyping the popcorn and stuff like that. And then it's a lousy movie, but at least the popcorn was still good. You know, so that's all you can
That's the only
care
place
about.
popcorn ever tasted good, was at a movie.
Well, listen, I want to wish you and yours a
I
very...
want to wish you, yes, and I wish you a great Christmas, Hanukkah, and also a birthday.
Oh, yes. Well, I already had my birthday by the time this runs, so thank you for
Well,
wishing
your
me.
birthday is, that's kind of a jip, though. You got you got your birthday and Christmas so close together. You only get you don't get double presents.
And I'll see after the year changes into yet another
Yes,
one.
if we roll into 23, we will see each other again.
Did you ever think you were going to live this long?
I didn't know.
You know, he's been thinking he was going to die every day since the day he was born. Anyway.
I used to think that in high school that I was going to die quite young. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, you lost your chance. Ladies
lost
and
that
gentlemen,
bet,
Larry
yeah.
Bubbles Brown. We'll see you next year, Larry.
You got it, Alex.
Bye-bye.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 8th year of talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I got to do a few things here. Let me just put this up here and up here. Okay, there we go. Hey, you notice the background? A little festive. Okay, I thought I'd get festive. All right. I'm sorry if I'm overly festive, but look at me. I really shouldn't put that there because it's so freezing. I'll explain to my audience why it's freezing in a moment. But let me see here. Let me see what participants I have here. Okay, I have a bunch of them. So let me just go get them. Get them to come in here, and let me see here. I'm using that, but I'm using a different background for myself here. You know, I could make it the snowy one if I wanted to, but I decided that would be annoying for a whole hour. So, what? Who was coughing?
Surprised me.
Oh yes, you almost didn't think you could make it tonight, right? You had internet problems.
Yeah, it's working now, so hopefully it'll last.
Well, here's a new feature of the Alex Bennett GabNet program. It's a little thing we call "How cold is it where you are?" For instance, Jeff, how cold is it where you are?
Right now it's 7.
It's 7. Well,
Yeah.
right down here in New York, we're having a heat wave. It's 10. Okay.
There you go.
And let's see here. Josh, you've been having internet problems, so that must mean there's some snow out there?
Yeah, we got a big snow and then it's really cold.
I don't like how he minimizes things. We had a big snow. How big was the big snow?
We got about 4 or 5 inches, but the winds have been so high that you can't really tell. I mean, parts of the yard, there's a big area where it's all grass, and then it's like 2 feet high up against the house. So
Yeah.
that's what they said we got. I don't know how they measured that. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, yeah. And let's see here. We also have Alan. How are you, Alan?
I'm doing good. I have to leave at 8:30, but I'll wave goodbye. Anyhow,
Why do you have to leave at 8:30?
I got to do some stuff for my mother. It's Friday night.
Stuff for your mother?
I mean, she.
What are you? Are you a mama's boy? Is that what this is all about?
No. I guess somebody's got to, feed her once in a while from a restaurant. She wants a McDonald's chicken sandwich. Funny you're talking about that.
Yeah,
with
we
Larry.
were. We're talking
I
about it
heard
with
it.
Larry. Yeah,
I heard it.
He likes the chicken sandwich. So
Yeah, but not from McDonald's because
Yeah,
it's deep fried. But she does.
she does. Yeah.
You're always saying you're coughing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up something with Larry Bubbles Brown that might be causing the coughing. You're laying in bed and you're spraying the citrus air stuff, and that's known to cause asthma.
Is it really?
Yes, I have some of them too. I have the orange oils, but I tell you, if you get that on some place that's sensitive to your skin, it burns. So yeah, it's hard on your lungs.
Really? Oh, okay. I'll tell Marjorie that. Maybe I can get her.
Make sure she sprays it the other.
Well,
direction.
she's just going to have to get used to my farts. That's all. We had a new rule about the farting. Okay, is that if you fart in bed, you have to spray the orange spray, but if you're standing up, you don't have to spray.
Oh, I thought you had to spray lemon if you're
Now,
standing.
I don't know why. Maybe because it's aimed at the floor or something like that. I haven't figured it out yet. You know.
That stuff's pretty potent. You only a little.
By the
spray
way,
of-
you'll hear subjects like this when Josh takes over for an hour at midnight our time here.
Mhm.
Yes, he'll be talking. You have a whole about 15 minutes on farting, don't you, tonight on your show?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And well, you know, also with us is Charlie Wallace, ladies and gentlemen. And what does your shirt say tonight?
It says the basic elements of humor, sarcasm, sulfur, argon,
I see.
calcium, and samarium.
Oh, I see. Sarcasm. This is very good. Where do you find these things? Is there?
I get them on Amazon.
You know, last night we found out about Charlie, a little more about Charlie, that he, for instance, speaks Russian. Okay? And that he was recruited by the CIA but didn't take the job. Right? You're afraid of what your friends would think, right? You're a member of the CIA.
Yeah, I couldn't face my friends. That was back in the 70s. And, you know, the
Well,
CIA
I mean-
was doing all kinds of awful things.
Well, there are awful things that the CIA does, but there's some very good things the CIA does. For instance, they collect money every year for St. Jude's Hospital. I heard that one somewhere. I don't know. But
Oh.
no, it's a lie. It's a lie. No, I mean, boy, I don't know. If I were offered a job by the CIA, you know, the only reason I would join it was to find out what all the secrets are. You know?
You think they're going to tell you everything?
Well, I'll tell you, I asked Jimmy Carter this question when I interviewed him. On one of the couple of occasions I did interview him. And I said to him, you know, the one thing about being president is that the day you become president, they sit you down in a room and they tell you all the secret stuff. And he says, yeah. I said, did any of what they told you scare you? And he said, most of it. He said it scared the living daylights out of me. You know, so I said, but of course you can't tell me whether they're aliens in Area 59 or whatever that place is out there. But he said that, yes, no, it scared him when he found out all the stuff we were doing around the world. So that's the only reason I want to become president of the United States, is so I can learn that stuff and then tell all America what it is, you know? But anyway.
I don't want to know.
Well, you would have found out. You had your chance, you know. Are you? Do you know? I mean, did they sit down with you and say, before we even approach you with this, you cannot tell anybody about this?
Oh, that was right up front.
Right up front, and you're telling me though. So can I now get
No,
killed?
they didn't tell me. They said if you work for the CIA, you can't tell anybody what you're doing.
Yeah, and how about after you leave the CIA?
It's the same thing. I mean, I assume that whatever is secret whether you stay there or not.
Yeah, yeah,
Unless you're Donald Trump.
yeah. Well,
They just tell you what you need to know. They don't tell you everything. If you don't need to know it, they don't tell you.
in other words, if you're in this department, you get to know what you know for that department, but you don't get to know what some other department knows.
Yep.
I wonder what department you're in where you know everything. I guess if you're the head of the CIA.
Yeah.
And then again, I don't know if these people tell the head of the CIA everything. You know? So, but I often, often wondered about the CIA and what it'd be like to be in the CIA, and, how dangerous a job it is. They have a whole wall of people who have been killed in service,
Yeah, they just have a star. They don't have their names because they can't tell you who they were.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Anyway, this is our the show you wait for all year long. Boy, I'm hearing a feedback. I'm hearing a feedback, a slapback, as we sometimes call it, and I don't know why. But let me see here. Are we? No, there it is. It's still there. Yeah, well, what the hell? You don't hear me now, and I don't hear that sound. Can you hear me? Okay, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I turned down something here that might have been causing a little bit of that, so it minimizes it. Anyway. This is our big Christmas show. Everybody waits for this all year long to hear the Jew do a Christmas show. When you were kids, like for instance, Charlie, when you were a kid, did your parents tell you there was a Santa?
Yo, sure. Yeah.
Yeah? And how long was it before you realized you were being taken to the cleaners?
Oh, I'm the youngest, so I probably found out earlier than most people because my older brother and sister.
Well, how'd you find out?
Well, basically, my brother told me. Laughed at me for believing in Santa Claus.
Oh, I see. But did he believe in Santa Claus at one time?
I'm sure he did because they told us.
Because
we always got two presents. We got a present from Santa Claus and a present from Mom and Dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. And so when you finally found out there was no Santa, they stopped giving you one of the gifts?
Nah, they still kept giving them.
Yeah. No, because I wondered about that. I see, because I'm not a Gentile, so I don't know how telling your kid about Santa Claus, or when do you stop telling them there's a Santa Claus, or do you ever start telling them there's a Santa Claus? Like, for instance, your kids, did you tell them there was a Santa Claus?
I got kind of outvoted. My wife wanted to tell them there was Santa Claus, so I felt guilty about lying to my kids, but
Well, that's one of the big.
I had to go along with her.
That was one of the main questions on the questionnaire for the CIA employment: is do you believe in Santa Claus? And if you don't get to join the CIA.
No, they send you to the FBI.
Now, what did you do about your kids, Jeff? Did you ever tell them there was a Santa Claus?
No.
Well,
I told them it didn't exist.
Huh?
You crazy? I told them no.
You told them no. Oh, okay. I mean, just flat out no.
Yeah.
Now, so what did they
It's
do
a
with
guy
it?
who works. It's a guy on at the store. Wears funny clothes.
Who? What?
He's like if you go to Macy's, you're gonna see.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Santa
guy
Claus.
who works at the department store. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think of him as an employee. I just thought of him as a fat drunk who was out of work, except for a month a
He was
year.
one of Santa's helpers.
Santa's helpers?
Yeah.
I wonder at those department stores, if Kevin calls tonight, and I suspect he will, okay, I want to ask him the big question, and that is, does Santa get paid more for his job than the elves do? Well, I mean, haven't you always wondered about that?
Santa's the boss. Of course he gets paid more.
No, he's not the boss at Macy's. He's not the boss. You know. Well, now, like for instance, Brian,
Hi.
Adrian, did you ever tell her there was a Santa Claus?
Yeah, she thinks there's Santa Claus.
To this day?
Yeah.
She's only 7, yeah.
What do you mean she's only 7?
She's only 7.
I mean, I think the expiration date on Santa would be like 5.
I told the other kids if they don't believe, then they're not getting gifts. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But how do you tell those kids not to tell her?
Shut the fuck up about it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Plain and simple.
Now, the day is going to come. There are going to be 2 big times in your life as a father, and I'm telling you this now because you're a father later in life. So
and you
should
have so much experience.
Well, I have experience by watching other people. Okay. There are 2 important things that you're going to have to sit down with Adrian and tell her. One is all about the birds and the bees, right?
Not my job.
Oh, real? Okay, it's
yeah.
Mom's job, right?
I've told Stephanie, who's 14, don't trust any guy because they will lie for anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything. That was my talk with Stephanie.
Oh, so you did have a talk with her.
With Stephanie.
Yeah, with Stephanie. But why'd you decide this one would be your wife's job? Or your, no, I won't say wife, is a significant other.
I'll tell Adrian the same thing after I get my lessons from Alan and Phil.
Oh, I see. Okay. And are you going to tell her about the birds and the bees? You can let Mom do that too.
Mom can do that part. I just tell them don't trust guys. That's all.
Don't trust guys. That's very good. Because they will. How did you put it? Did you put it in a nice way, or did you just say they'd do anything to get into your pants?
Because from experience, yeah.
Well, you knew what you were like as a guy. In fact, that's why most fathers don't trust the guys that come to the doors, because they know what they were like.
Self-trained.
Self-trained, exactly.
And that's why when they go out to hang out with their friends and they say they're going to go do something, you know, I was there too. I told my dad, oh yeah, their parents are home. Yeah, their parents are home, you know.
Yeah. And
now we have trackers for everything, so I can see. Like, I can see where my son is, right? Well, I can see where my son's phone is right now. And if I was my son, I would go to work and leave my phone at work and go hang out with my friends and go do whatever I want to do.
You should just know. You should know how to turn off Find My Phone.
No, they're apps for it.
Oh, they're apps. Oh, and did you secretly put that app on his phone when he wasn't looking?
No. He knows it's there, so that's what I'm saying. If I was his age, I would know how to get around all that stuff too.
How did you tell him that you were putting a tracker on his phone and not having him get mad about it?
No, he wanted it because we kept asking him, where are you going? What time are you going to be home? And calling him, where are you? Texting him, where are you? So he said, Stephanie said, there's a tracker for that. So then they hooked it up.
Yeah. And it's also, I think it's for their own safety too, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Sarcasm, yes.
No, the kids, we told our kids, you just won't get a phone unless you have an app on it. You want a phone, the app's got to be on it.
And how does this app work? It just tells you where they are, right?
Oh, yeah, it's just like GPS.
But I mean, I know where Marjorie is all the time because I have it on her phone made so that I can see where she is.
Yeah.
So she can't see where I am. However, I haven't set it up on my.
You can see where your phone is. She can't see where you are.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Unless you put a GPS tracker under the skin.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the phone is a tracker. I mean, if they left their phone at home, he wouldn't be able to find out where they are.
Right.
You know. So
that's why you put it under the skin.
And Josh, like me, you don't have any kids, so you never had to tell any of them. Would you? If you did have a kid, would you tell them there was a Santa in the beginning? I mean, when they're a little baby and so on.
No, I don't think so. I doubt it.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
The big thing now are these things called Elf on a Shelf, and I just don't want. I wouldn't want to give my kid any kind of like toy that snitches on him. You know, got to be good. The elf on the shelf is watching. I felt this whole Santa thing anyway was a way of controlling children. You know,
Exactly.
If you're not good, Santa's not going to come and visit.
It's a way of
watch
controlling
out.
parents.
Huh?
It's a way of controlling parents. Parents have got to go shopping, got to spend money.
Oh God.
For the kids.
Yeah. Listen, I don't have any kids, and I still spend a lot of money. You know, I got this. I got my super to tip. I got his assistants to tip.
What?
You know.
Why?
Huh?
Why do you tip them?
Why do I tip them?
Yeah.
So that when something breaks in the apartment, they'll come up and fix it. You know, I mean, I give him about $300 a year. Okay.
Wow.
The super.
How many apartments are there?
There are 100 in this building.
So even if he got an average of $100,
He doesn't see that. Most of these people don't tip him. I bet they don't. You know. But I learned a long time ago, you tip the super, because you'll get
Quicker response.
quicker response when something's broken. He's up here, unless he's really busy, but he usually takes care of everything that I need to have him take care of. So, it's worth it. And also, I pay the guys at $50 each who are like his assistants, who take the garbage away in the morning, and general maintenance guys around the building. And that's because they, I think they should get something too. But I wouldn't say, in this building, how many people would tip the super? I don't think a hell of a lot. Because a lot of these people are here with very low rents. They've been here for 30 years when this place was a big crack house, And I don't think they're used to tipping the super. So, But just everywhere I've ever been, that's what you did, So I have to do that, and then I have to get Marjorie a gift for this time of year, What else do I spend money on? Christmas is just I got to spend some money, and I don't like spending money, especially at my age. I need every single penny I can lay my hands on. So, but anyway, we've run out. Well, that's our Christmas show.
See you next year.
Yeah, well, you know something? If Kevin comes on tonight as Santa, and I think he probably will, don't you, Josh?
I don't know. I haven't really heard from him much today.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know what he's doing.
I'm hoping that he will pay us a visit, and if he does, is Adrian home?
Yeah, she's in the next.
She could talk to Santa.
Yeah, because I know he usually calls. So
yeah, he's been most years he's called. But then again, I may have pissed Santa off this year. I don't know.
Have you been naughty?
Yeah, I've been naughty. Been nice. But anyway, so on other things that are happening, the January 6th committee came out with their pamphlet. Yeah. They're on an 800-page pamphlet. Is it 800 pages? Something like that?
No, I didn't hear.
And one of their recommendations is Donald Trump should never be allowed to run for public office ever again.
I agree.
That's one of the that's just a recommendation.
One of the recommendations.
Right. Yeah, that's still good.
Yeah, but I mean it's not very good stuff that's in there, And I mean, of course, he says it's a witch hunt. It's a Salem witch trial or whatever. He always says the same things over and over again. But the fact is, I mean, what he did was just terrible. Just terrible. I mean, think about it. Did you ever think you would live in America and have anybody try what he tried? It just goes beyond all comprehension. So, well, I lived long enough to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so. Well, that's another subject just went flat. Let me see. What?
They should probably seriously consider that option. That's an option that was, there's nothing wrong with using that. I know some people would roll their eyes at that or whatever, but it's as constitutionally allowed as the next 100 things, that are in there that we do. So why not use it if that's the case?
Yeah, I mean to say that he cannot run for president ever again?
Yeah.
Well, he tried to overthrow the government.
Right. I mean, that's why it's in there,
Oh, picky.
I mean, it was, and what people have to remember is that provision is in encased within one of the amendments, which means that particular provision was saw fit to be put in there by the people, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Not by people. This is not one of those ones where people can say, oh, those guys that own slaves put that in there, or, it doesn't have anything to do with today. No, it came way after that.
Mm-hmm.
That was put in by the people and the states and the Congress all together. the House, the Senate, the people, their consent, the state legislatures, all via the people. So, I mean, so what's,
Well, did we have
there's no,
do we have treason in the Constitution?
Yeah.
it just has its mentions for, particular punishments and things like that,
So we thought it could happen.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
let's, you can go back and forth about whether it was as bad as we make it sound today with the joke, but let's not forget that the people who wrote that certainly sat in a room and remembered Benedict Arnold.
Yeah.
Of all the things in his life that wounded Washington more than anything, the Arnold affair was probably the one that.
Now, what did he do exactly?
Well, he was upset about his treatment by the Army and by the Congress for the services that he thought that he rendered. He fronted a bit of his own fortune to field the part of his men at times, which was fairly common during that period, because the country was broke. He didn't feel like or think that he got the credit that he deserved. He didn't think that he was able to benefit financially enough given what he had sacrificed. So in the end, he decided that he could maybe get a better deal from the British, because he was waning on whether or not this new idea of America was really going to be good, because in his eyes, it wasn't working out so far. He was, in his mind, giving everything he could give and getting nothing back. So he sold plans to West Point, the defenses and things like that, what we now call West Point, to the British, and gave them information on how they could get boats and things by for an invasion and stuff like that, and then went over to join the British and actually led troops against American patriot forces. He never led British regulars. Okay, he led loyalist militia and things like
now,
that.
This was while America still wasn't a country, right?
Yeah, right. This is right.
So how can you commit treason? How can you commit treason against a country that doesn't exist?
Well, you really can't, I guess. Although at the time we had declared our independence and we were operating under basically a pact, a confederation pact. So it was in, there were things in that pact, and you can commit treason against the army that you joined. When he joined the army, the Continental Army, they signed agreements, especially officers. He was given a commission, in the Continental Army that said this, that, and the other, and he didn't hold up that end. You can, just like desertion, the same sort of crime punishable by death. Had they been able to capture Arnold, they would have.
What happened? Now, what happened? They didn't capture him, right?
Correct.
Where was he? Go back to England?
He did after a while. I'm trying to remember the exact details of him. I don't know if he went to England and then came right back, but he stayed around the States on the British side in British safe territory, and I think on a few ships for a while, and then he led some militia and things of that nature, and then ended up basically exiled or whatever. So
he if they had caught him, would they have shot him?
No, he would have been hanged as a spy, as a traitor.
In those days, bullets were hard to come by.
Yeah. His British counterpart, his handler, if you will, was caught, during the exchange, the period basically, and he was hanged. John Andre was hanged as a British spy.
Wow.
So, that was the. Washington wanted him captured pretty bad.
Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that Benedict Arnold's name has lived forever in infamy? In other words, to this day, we use that term as somebody who betrays you. Oh, you're a regular Benedict Arnold,
Right.
We don't forget that name.
Right.
Do you think we'll
it was,
do you think given enough time, Trump will be forgotten?
Oh, heck no.
I don't think he'll be forgotten. And
What will he be remembered as, though? A traitor?
I think that as time goes on, I think it will be more negatively. I think that you will see. I mean, I really do. I'm not saying this because I don't like him. I mean, I think we know by now that I will give you what I was trained to do, which is a historical opinion. I mean, which is hundreds of credits of of training. I mean, I will give it to you that way.
Yeah.
And I think that even some of our poor presidents, as time passes and information comes about and people who were in the moment forget and move on, whatever, or people much, much later take a look at it completely unattached to the situation. They didn't have to live through it or vote for the guy or the woman or whatever. I think their reputation typically improves. I mean, someone always has to be ranked at the bottom, right? But there's always people trying to find nicer things to say about them in the service of their country. I mean, just in our own little world right here, the second George Bush, okay, who I guarantee you, we probably all couldn't stand in 2005 and 2000. I mean, hey, I can remember, God, this fucking guy driving me fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, hey, listen.
But now we can probably look back and say, he was kind of a decent person.
I'll let you continue in a second, but I know that Alan is itching to leave.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, no, it's okay. It's not a problem. So I am going to leave. Everybody have a good Christmas. Stay safe and see you next year.
Okay, we'll see you after on the 4th of December. January.
January, that's close enough.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Okay, have a happy
Stay
Christmas.
safe.
Okay.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye. Bye,
And
Alan.
that leaves room for other people to call. Come on. We need more people.
Yeah, where are those 400 people that wish you happy birthday?
Where are the 400 people wish me happy birthday?
I want
Yeah.
to reply to each single one of them and say, hey.
Wait a minute. Who?
They always say, oh, wow, I used to listen to you back in Live 105.
Yeah.
So listen to them now.
Who's just joined us, Jeff?
That's not Santa.
Wait a minute, your mic isn't on. Your mic isn't on.
Hey, Alex, it's Andrew, Jeff's son.
Yeah, hi. You had lunch with us, right?
Many years ago.
Right. Many years. It's many years ago. Is that what you're thinking it was?
Many years ago.
Well, how many years ago was it?
Don't you love that phrase?
It was maybe 5 years ago.
I think 5 years ago sounds
Well,
right.
for you at your age, that's many years. For me, that's just a blink of the eye.
Many years ago.
Do you have kids? No, because we're asking the question about. When did he tell you there wasn't a Santa?
He didn't tell me, but someone at school told me in kindergarten.
And how did you?
Yeah.
To begin with, it's really a party pooper who does something like that, right?
Oh, it was devastating.
Was it devastating to you?
It was devastating.
How long
I
did
felt
it?
so stupid.
And did you go home then and yell at him for not telling you there wasn't a Santa?
I think I kept it to myself. Well, he's Jewish, so it's not his responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, that was tough. That was a hard day.
See, that's what I would think would be so bad about telling your kid there is a Santa Claus, is the day you've got to tell that kid there isn't, or the day that kid finds out and then
Finds out.
And how long did it take you to get over that? Or did you say to yourself,
I'm still getting over it.
Yeah.
Well, in fact, if it's
Surprise
my parents who have been lying to me, but they've also been giving me the presents in the name of Santa, maybe
Yeah.
if I want to keep the gold rush coming, I better just tell them I still believe in Santa Claus.
Yeah, I don't think I was mad at my parents for that. I think I was just sad that this benevolent magic man didn't really exist.
And just-
What did you feel worse, that or the first woman who dumped you?
The first woman who dumped me.
You felt worse about it. Okay, I'm just wondering, I wanted to put it on a scale,
Yeah.
So just to make it worse, Adrian
I'm not a
and
big
I,
materialist.
What?
every year, so Adrian and I tomorrow, we will go to Safeway and we'll get carrots with the leaves part
Mhm.
and cookies for Santa. So we leave those for him, and she leaves him a note.
And they're magically gone the next day, right?
Yes, but I leave it a little bit. Or there's always a little bit left, to show that, yeah.
Gotta have the crumbs there, or the cookies.
I just downloaded a movie that is I've been wanting to see. Have you heard about this movie, Violent Night?
No, Violent Nights, no, not yet. I haven't seen it.
It's an action film with Santa.
It's a scary movie.
Huh?
I thought.
Yeah, supposedly he
It's
goes
a horror
to.
movie,
I haven't
right?
seen
Yeah,
it
it's
yet,
like a
but he goes
slasher.
to somebody's house, and these people invade the house, and he's got to protect them against the invasion, and blah blah blah. Blah. And I'm going, boy, that's fun. It sounds like a good idea.
I just watched 2 Christmas movies.
Really, on the Hallmark Channel, perhaps?
No, I watched the George C. Scott Christmas Carol.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was pretty good. And then I watched Little Women from the 1994 one.
Really?
With Winona Ryder.
Yeah. Okay.
And Susan Sarandon.
Is that a Christmas movie? I'll tell you, if I like Christmas movies, I think my favorite Christmas movie is either between A Christmas Story, which is the Gene Shepard film.
Yeah, of course.
Or one that we don't think of as a Christmas film, but it really is, Love Actually.
Yeah.
Which is a great film and a great
How about Eyes
film.
Wide Shut, Alex? That's my favorite.
That's your favorite
movie.
Christmas film?
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Doesn't that take place on Christmas?
Yes, that's my favorite Christmas movies. Die Hard.
Bruce is very adamant that it's not a Christmas movie, though, which is just like a huge bummer. Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. If it takes place on Christmas, then it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. I saw a clip of him at an award show once, and he was very, very adamant that it wasn't a Christmas movie, or said as much in his speech. I thought that was kind of a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another bad day.
Yeah. Well, come on, folks. I also want more people calling, because this show at midnight is going to morph into Josh's show. And I want him to have at least more than me as online.
I'll be there.
Huh? You'll stick
I'm gonna
around,
stick
Jeff?
there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know Neary probably has
He's
things
sitting
to
next
do.
to the fireplace. He's very comfortable.
That's right. It's nice and warm.
I'll tell you something. Let me
Freezing
tell you
there, huh?
this. This is the sad thing I have to tell you about this apartment. So they had problems with the boiler downstairs. About a week ago. All of a sudden, the hot water was dripping out of the shower head.
Okay.
And they went down, temporarily fixed it. They had to fix it completely. So they said yesterday and today, between the hours of 10 and 6 at night, there was going to be no hot water and no hot, because we have radiators, no hot heat, no heat. Well, I'm telling you, it was 54 degrees in New York City at 10 o'clock this morning, and by 7 o'clock tonight, it was 10 degrees. And and they hadn't turned it on yet. And it was freezing in here. And the only room I could hang out in that was warm was this room, because of all the equipment in it that produces heat. So and it was horrible. Marjorie called the 311 number and complained, because there's a law that if it's cold weather, it's I think 68 degrees or something like that. It has to be, you have to have at least a temperature of 68 degrees in any apartment, and that is the responsibility of the landlords to provide that. And here, 10 degrees and we got no heat. So now you've had some problems out there. Josh, you had your electricity went out. Or
we didn't
internet?
lose in my house we didn't lose electricity. There are a lot of people around who did. We did lose the internet for quite a long time. Went out like in the middle of the night. It didn't come back on until a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
And then, but you know, we did get a lot of snow, and the winds are still very high. I mean, I can still hear it outside, and the temperature is very cold. It's like 8 or 9 below. That's the temperature. That's not the wind chill.
Mm-hmm.
That's the temperature. So, the front of my house is not blocked by anything, and it faces west, which is where all the winds are coming from.
Yeah.
So the entire front of the house, all the windows are frozen over. On the inside of the house, the doorknob is frozen like ice, where it keeps condensating and then refreezes and condensating and refreezes. So the doorknob's like this fucking big around with ice. I have a bunch of towels shoved on the floor to catch all the dripping water. The ice came in under the door. I mean, it's a total fucking wreck. But I mean, look, it's the way it is. We live in a cold part of the country. I don't know what to mean. You get kind of used to it after a while, but
yeah. But I mean, here,
I'm sure if I tried to open my garage door, that it would not open with the opener. I would have to physically disconnect that and then try to bust it up and open, because I'm sure it's frozen to the concrete. There's no way that it's not.
So you're pretty well locked in your house.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Do you have enough?
I mean, we could open it if we needed to. I have done it before, but I'll be worn out by the time it's done because it'll take like half an hour.
Yeah.
That is a big thing that actually happens here, is occasionally there are people who can't get their garage door up because, like the night before it snowed, it rained all night. And then slowly, you know, the temperature kept going and going and going, and then it changed really quick. So, you know, like the seal at the bottom with the concrete and everything is wet. And then the temperature changed really fast, and it'll
and garages aren't heated.
No, right. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, and, you know, you can't heat the concrete and the ground and all that. So, I mean, that does happen here, especially, like I said, my house faces west, and there's really nothing that blocks it. There's no house across the street or anything. You know, there's nothing to block straight wind out across, you know, like a big open cornfield and all that. So, I mean, the corn's been harvested in that field. I mean, there's nothing to block the wind whatsoever. So it's the driveway's all covered.
How bucolic of him. And the corn, you know.
I used to live in Iowa for a year or two.
Yeah.
Same thing. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when we built the house, I knew it was going to face west, and I kind of knew it was a mistake, but it was a bigger mistake than I thought, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the garage is always full of damn dust. And I mean, you know, it's always something.
Oh, cool.
Rain beats the house. It's just the way it is.
Cool
Don't ever build a house.
Cool it, everybody. You've got to be nice. Because
you don't want to die.
There he is. Ladies and gentlemen, our yearly what is that? Is that some booze?
Gold Bar whiskey. Go Niners.
Your buddy's here.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, Adrian, look who's here. Look who's here.
Better put away the booze.
Yeah. Hey, Adrian.
Who's that?
Adrian. Matt.
Santa.
Why?
Huh? That.
I just work at the mall.
He's Santa's helper, right? Is he one of Santa's helpers?
He's a Santa helper.
Yes, he's Santa's.
He's not even a helper, Adrian.
Fine, I'll go get my paycheck then.
You can go back to drinking. So you don't believe that's Santa? You want to pull on your beard just to show her that it's real. See, it's a real beard.
Okay.
I'll be talking to you later, Brian. I got your number.
I guess.
Well, I'll tell you, you did a really convincing job there.
She gone? I scared my next-door neighbor one time.
Why did she think he was Santa's helper?
No, she does. First she said Alan.
Bring her back here. was listening earlier. There was way too much Jew talk, so I had to chime in.
Yeah. But this is a yearly tradition with us, actually, right, Kevin?
Absolutely.
You've done this every year for many, many years now.
The last 20 minutes.
Yes, and I was waiting because I was looking at the clock and went, oh, yeah, he is about the last 20 minutes because he doesn't want to have to do this for a whole hour.
No, it's way too long and too hot.
Well,
and
you're
I'll get
lucky.
real drunk.
You've got warmth. I mean, I don't know. Here it's warm because I turned on, I have a heater here. What do you call it? A radiator. Or as Marjorie calls them, a radiator. Because, heat radiates. And I turned it on. It's 2 knobs because I never turned this one on. But it was just so cold. I had to. I turned it on for about 20 minutes and I had to turn it off. It was so oppressive because this room really gets filled up fast with the hot air. And it's been nice and toasty in here. But I don't know what it's like in the rest of the house, because the whole day.
Guys getting a cyclone bomb or bomb cyclones?
What is that? What is that?
It just means it's fucking cold.
Yeah.
Now here's somebody who wants to come on called Matt Sheridan. I don't trust him.
Bring him on. I'm sure he's doing something.
Okay, well, let me see, because I'm going to just get rid of him real fast.
Jeff, tell your son to close his eyes.
Okay, everybody, close your eyes. If he jumps in fast, there he is.
Sheridan.
There's Matt. Are you there, Matt? You are there.
See? He's got his clothes on.
Where are you calling from, Matt?
I'm from Long Island.
He's from Long Island. Okay. Sometimes lately we don't trust people who we don't know their names and have never called the show before because, they might.
Matt from the chat.
Yeah, I'm from the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, hi, Matt.
I thought that name sounded familiar.
Yeah.
I actually called in. I think Josh was hosting that show one night, and this was like last summer, and I called in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, that shows you at my age how forgetful I get.
It's all right. I'm already forgetful.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about Christmas movies, and I was just like, oh, let me join in on this one.
Yeah, Christmas movie. Well, what Christmas movie do you like?
I was going to say one that no one ever really talks about. I was going to say is Batman Returns. That's the one with Michael Keaton and Danny DeVito as the Penguin and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, I see. Does that take place at Christmas?
Yeah, it is a Christmas movie. It's a very dark Christmas movie.
Did it come out at Christmas?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But it definitely is a Christmas movie. I was like, I watched it recently, 2 years ago. I'm like, this is a Christmas movie. No one ever talks about it being a Christmas movie though.
Yeah. How about you, Kevin? Santa. Any favorite Christmas movies?
I don't do movies.
Oh, you don't? You're too busy up there at the North Pole, right?
Yeah, what am I supposed to say? Christmas Story?
Well, I didn't mention one of my guilty pleasures is Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah.
That's
one of the best ones.
There's nothing funnier than seeing, under any conditions, Santa being played as a drunk. I mean, that has always been a comedy gold,
Especially the fact he's always he's pissed off, angry, drunk, and he's such a curmudgeon. It's so funny.
Yeah, exactly. Well, in this Violent Night, Santa is just fed up with being Santa. It opens up with him in a bar.
I saw that movie theater too. That was brilliant.
Getting drunk as hell, and just saying, "I hate this. I got to stop this. I can't do this anymore." And then he takes off in his sleigh, and this woman runs up to the roof to see him, and says, "Santa!" And he goes by and pukes all over her as he's and I go, I think I got to watch the rest of this. This has got to be pretty damn good. But
what's that one called? I have to write that down.
Violent Night.
Violent Night.
Yeah, and it's an action film. What's it about exactly, Matt?
It's about a family, a group of wealthy. It's like a wealthy family, and they meet together for Christmas. And John Leguizamo and a bunch of people infiltrate the party and they want to kill everyone there so they can take the money. And Santa Claus happens to be there at the same time, and he's the one that has to violently kill all the bad guys, like a Tarantino movie. He like right before he kills all of them, he says something like, "I'm gonna eat through all these motherfuckers like Santa would a plate of cookies" or something.
It may be a classic, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe one of those kind of films that, okay, it does okay now, but then over the years they will bring it back and bring it back and bring it back and go, this is comedy gold. Is it pretty much done for laughs? Or is it?
Oh yeah, the deaths are so over the top, but it's so over the top that you have to laugh at it. Like, it is so absurd, but it's like, it's entertaining, you know. And like, he plays like when he not spoiling anything, but like when he violently kills like a bunch of bad guys, they play that Bryan Adams song, and it talks about everyone coming together for Christmas, and he's like chopping heads off and everything. So good.
Why is it Santa is such comedy gold when you play him as a reprobate, as it were, you know? But anyway, well.
So Matt, you seem very young. How do you get connected with the show?
Yeah.
It was funny. I remember. I think it was. I somehow got involved with. Like I was bored and I just needed a podcast to listen to. I was listening to Alan Combs. And then he died, and then you gave that tribute to him. And that's somehow how I found you. This is like years ago, but then I was like, oh, it's just pretty good. So that's kind of how I just came across with it.
How long's he been gone now? I'd like
4 years, maybe?
Yeah, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. Yeah. That was really out of a clear, out of the blue. We didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah, no. I always got in. He was way more entertaining on the radio than he was on television, because I grew up with him, and he was the guy. He was like Hannity's foil, and I was like, he's kind of lame. But then you see him on the radio, and oh my God, he was amazing.
Yeah.
He was like he was kind of like dickish, but that's what was his appeal, you know. He was, you know, it's what made it. It was.
What do you mean hickish? What do you mean hickish? Kind of.
No, dickish. He was kind of a dick, but he was making good points.
Yeah.
Know?
Well, he stole that from me.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. I made a life of being a radio dick, you know. But no. Actually, he did steal something from me, but he always admitted it. Quickies, which I used to do, which I think he called it something else, where you just make a quick statement. And then,
yeah. It was like, I think probably, was it like end of the show, kind of like just...
Yeah. Well, that's the way I used to end my show in New York every night, was with quickies. And quite a few people. Hannity stole it, and who else? Somebody else stole it too, and I can't remember who now. But it got to a point, so many people stole it that I stopped doing it. And then one day I decided to start doing it again when I went back to Sirius XM, because I said, well, why should I give up a good thing just because? And then, of course, once I started doing it again, everybody went, oh, Alan Combs did that, you know. But Alan was a terrific guy. Loved Alan. Just loved him. He's not, like a really nice guy. Just not a more nicer guy you would not meet anywhere, you know. And they always used to ask me onto his show on Fox, and it was, it was nice, you know, and I enjoyed it. But that's what you get for putting me on your show. You die, you see, because God forbid Alex should have a regular gig, you know. Anyway, but then again, I was with Tucker Carlson for a while, and he didn't die. So this is when he was on. People don't remember this. Anybody remember Tucker Carlson on MSNBC?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah.
During the probably, like I said, the second Bush administration. He was probably like 05, 06, 07.
Yeah.
He was on during the earlier part. I don't think he was too late. I don't think.
Well, I used to go on every Friday with him and another guy, and we just used to bat the news around.
Yeah.
You know, and then they decided they didn't want to do that anymore. He liked it. He thought it was terrific, but it was the people at MSNBC who kind of nixed the thing. So that lasted for about, I think it was 10 weeks or something. We did that every week. You know. people say, "What was Tucker like?" And I went, "I don't know. He was in New Jersey. I was sitting in like a studio in New York City, so whatever."
Did he have that look on his face back then when he was taking a crap?
Yeah, yeah. He always had that. It's a look of either complete stupidity or wonderment, one or the other. I can't figure out what it is, but
Yeah, he had a stick up his ass even then. Don't worry.
yeah. Well, he always tried to find a career for himself, because you remember he started out over at CNN, where he and I can't remember who it was were at night. It was like point counterpoint for a whole hour, and it was the two of them, and then they got rid of. Those were the bow tie days.
Is that when Jon Stewart went on the show and embarrassed them?
That I don't remember. But anyway, so so we were going to be off for the week between now and the new year. We always take the week off. I call it our long winter's nap, and since we're not going to have a New Year's show of this show particularly. Sometimes I decide at the last minute to go on at New Year's. Anybody have any resolutions at all that they? Well, that's it for people not wanting to make good on stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They're usually gone by the first or second day anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's just going to be broken a week later.
Yeah. Well, now what you do is you just do things that you can not have to take back and say you didn't get done. Like
breathe.
Well, I'm resolving this year to get laid. I think things like that. That are not in the normal stream of things. But oh man, I'm telling you, Charlie. This has been a big year for you because you were the official counter of death.
I'm still counting death.
I was going to give you a robe and a scythe, because you kept every night you were coming on with deaths and stuff. And you actually still to this day post it every night on our chat. And for instance, do you know, folks, we're up to let's see, how many confirmed cases?
100 million cases.
Over 100 million cases in this country, confirmed. And I was one of them. Okay. Of course, I didn't get it bad, so. But also, how many deaths?
1,090,150 as of today.
Do you remember when Trump was saying, "Oh, this will go away," and we were up to about 40,000 or something? Million plus later, they're still dying, and the numbers are going up, aren't they?
Yeah,
by the way, Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas, everybody. What? What are you going to say?
Yeah, it more than doubled in the last month.
Jeez. And do you know that they found that seniors, who should always make sure they're up to date on their COVID vaccinations, aren't getting the latest vaccination, the latest booster. And that's just stupid. Just, if the new one comes out, go get it. For instance, Matt, do you have all your shots?
Yes, I do.
You have 5 of them total, right?
Yeah.
See?
Yes.
How old are you, Matt?
It fluctuates, but I'm in my 30s.
In my 30s.
You're in your 30s. But you've made sure, and you are not in a group that, has a high mortality rate where COVID is concerned, but you went out and got them all.
Oh yeah, I don't want to get anyone sick, and I want to make sure I don't get sick.
And you don't want to get the people around you sick. Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, what we're going to do here now is I'm going to sign off the program, and then I'm going to sign it off like we always sign it off. And you people just stay right there. I'm not going to close down the Zoom here. and Josh will be taking over and doing his show. But it will take me about a minute, maybe 2 minutes to get everything going. So just stay there. And let me see here. Let me go get the theme song going here so it can be an official closing. I want to wish, everybody here a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to Jeff and to his son Andrew and to Josh and to Charlie and to Brian. And these are some of my favorite people, by the way. Kevin, Santa. And of course, Matt, you should call us more often. This is very nice. It's nice to have somebody who isn't on the edge of death on this program, you know? Everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye too, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. Let me see here. Let me bring my camera up. Hey, listen. It's terrific, and I thank you all for joining us. I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We will see you bright and early on the new year with the on the 4th, I think, with another Ramble. Okay, we're taking the week off. In other words, we'll see you then. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, okay, do me a favor, tell her I love her. Okay, bye bye, everybody.